Yeah.
Okay, and it says we are live. Right.
Oh my gosh. Hello.
Hi.
So welcome to October's live stream for Film Prompt Society. So the plan for today, we're going to chat about the film made for last month's prompt. Henry and I will sheepishly talk about what we were hoping to do for last month's prompt, and then we'll have a little chat about ideas for October's spooky theme, and probably go off on some tangents about various things along the way. That is the plan. So if you haven't seen the current film for September's prompt, there is a link in the description to go watch that, because we will be talking about it, and probably good if you watch it first. Cool. So, are you both up to date with the film? You've watched it?
Yep.
Yep. This was made by Anna. Yes. So, thoughts? What did you think? I thought it was adorable.
It is cute. It's real cute. Like, it's just really well put together as well. I don't know, like the combination of the music and like the animation style, like it had that like jitter to it as well. That it was like warm. I'm really bad today. I'm sorry.
No, I totally agree.
It did feel quite homely though.
That warm feeling, like it made you feel happy when you
yeah.
It was that. I wondered if she'd found the music and made the animation to work to it, because it was all like perfect. I loved it. I thought it was just really clever and so funny. Like every time I watch it, it makes me laugh. I think that's quite clever to be able to create something that does that.
Yeah, definitely.
If you have any questions for Anna, wasn't able to join the stream due to time zone differences and the fact that she's currently in an exam. So, but I'm pretty sure that she'll check out this afterwards. If you have any questions, we can ask questions. Also, if there's anyone watching, if you want to stick any comments or anything about it in the chat, then she will see those at a later date, and hopefully we'll get back to you with anything you wanted to ask. So yeah, just thought I'd throw that in there. Continue.
I think I've got a question, and it's kind of stealing. I can't remember who literally just said it, but it's like, was the music theirs, or did they find it and then sync up their video with it? In which case, both of those scenarios are really good, to be honest. I've tried animating, as well as timing it with audio, and it's horrible. I hate doing it, but they seem to do a pretty good job.
Yeah, I've never tried animating to music. Like, I've edited to music, but whenever I've done any animation, I've put any music and sound effects in afterwards to work around the animation at the pace it happened to come out at.
Yeah.
I've never really needed to like properly keyframe for, right, so it needs to do this at this point to fit with the music.
Yeah. I would love to know as well, like what you were saying about the wobble or the jitter.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know how to describe it, but
I'd love to learn how you do that, like whether it's an effect you put on or if it's the actual style of the animation.
It looks to me like just drawing the same image twice and then just swapping between the two, because it looks like it's two different images from it. Because I've done a similar thing with some end screens I used to do where I had a bit of text and I'd have them slightly flickering like that between. I used to do 3 different ones just because I thought 2 looked a bit jarring the way I was doing it. But yeah, I think that's what's happened. It's just she's done every image twice to do that. I think.
Very cool.
Hey, it's Jamie. Jamie's in the chat. Good to have you here. If you do fancy joining in on the stream, you have the link. Feel free. But yeah, feel free to stay in the chat if that works better for you. So, what were we saying? The wibbly thing.
Yeah.
The wibbly wobble. The thing. Yeah.
It was very cool because I wonder how it would have felt different if it had just been like a clean line animation or something instead. Like, I don't think it had the same kind of vibe.
So. Yeah, that's what was cool. Yeah.
It kind of gave. This is gonna be a faux pas. Were they bees? They kind of give the bee bug creatures a bit more life.
I think they were they ants?
I thought they were ants, but I mean, they could have been bees.
Oh.
They were just, they were some kind of insect.
I assumed
Yeah, it was the close-up that I thought they were bees for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I just assumed they were ants because they were trying to steal the food. But they couldn't do anything, I guess. They were very cute.
But yeah, that jitter effect was like, that did a load of work, like maybe more than they were expecting, but like it's always good.
Sorry if I'm distracted. I'm just tweeting that we're live, so apologies.
It's okay. Jamie's just messaged the chat. Their animation reminded me a lot of Kick the PJ style. I think he did a tutorial on it a while back. Yeah, like there's a lot of YouTubers that do it, and it really adds like a really cool, like, I don't want to say vibe, but I just did. So
yeah, it's a style, isn't it? It's a style that
they are ants. Okay, sorry. Jamie's correcting me in the chat. They're ants. Sorry, I was taking a big gulp. You probably heard that. Oh God. I don't know. Do we have any more questions for this person? Jamie, do you have any questions for this person?
Or anybody else who's watching? I've got a couple of people, but I don't know how many of them are just us. So
I popped out the chat. Does that count as a view?
Not sure. Possibly.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a way. Is there a way to see the chat without opening up the video? Because that's what I have to do every time.
Yeah. So in the corner of the video, there's a drop down thing you can click on, and then you can click pop out chat, and it opens it up in its own window.
Oh, okay. I have to have a look for that.
Little live streaming tips.
Oh, that's oh, thank you. There we go.
I didn't know about it either as well. I've literally just discovered this, and it's amazing. But
yeah, I only worked it out last month on the stream. And yeah, it revolutionized my life.
Henry, how's progress on your September video?
No.
Nice segue,
Jane. It's in the editor, and I just gotta time things really now and put on crazy wacky overlays and that sort of stuff. I've got all the footage I need, got all the sound I need, I've got all the images I need. I just kind of need to put them together at this point. And I've started. I'm about a minute into it, and it's going to be about like 2:30, I guess. But yeah, it's going. It's happening. We'll see it maybe in November, but who knows? Jules, how is yours going? Just to
well, I filmed about half of it and then decided I hated it, so I scrapped that. So I need to film it again. I mean, I still got the footage, but I'm just not happy with it. I kind of just was like, right, I'll just film it and get on with it. And I just think I didn't think enough about where I was setting up my camera and how I was doing things. It just kind of like the camera is just plopped, and then I've done a thing, and I'm just like.
But that's good that you're willing to redo it, because I think like sometimes it's just like, oh, I put so much work into it, I don't want to redo it all again. So it's good that you're motivated enough to redo it.
Yeah, definitely. I was just like, I'm not going to be happy if I spend time editing this and getting it finished, and I'm just like always going to look at it and be like, yeah, but why did I just stick the camera there for that? Like, why didn't I do a wider shot for that? And just like, oh.
So you mean live action?
Yes.
So like, the audio for mine is kind of a key part, and I've re-recorded it like 6 or 7 times. If it makes you feel any better. I might do it again. Who knows? But do you mind me asking what yours is about, or is that?
Yeah, I mean, at this rate, I mean, there's a potential I'll never actually make it, so like, might as well. I went down a really weird route because so basically, I went to Ruckus Retreat that was at the end of August, start of September, which was a creative retreat. And I used my time there to work on the script. And I spent the first 2 days of the 4 days, no, probably 2.5 days, working on a completely different idea that I then decided would take too long because it would require animation. So then I came up with another idea that was really stupid, but is my kind of like stupid comedy kind of tone. So I was just like, yeah, perfect. I'm just going to do that. And so yeah, that I ended up writing the script and like planning it all out there, and then like did nothing with it because I didn't have the time. So the premise is that the Earth has been taken over by an overlord race of aliens that require us to give them a lunch every day.
I love that.
I love that too.
So there's a fairly small number of aliens, a very large number of humans, and they randomly select people from the world to provide them with lunch. So everybody has to make a spare lunch every lunchtime just in case they're selected.
Awesome.
So that's the premise.
So you, like, going off what you guys were talking about last stream, you kind of went down the path of like the weird horrorness of it. Like it did sound spooky. It sounded like B-movie ominous sort of. They came at lunchtime because I did a similar thing with mine.
I wouldn't say mine's spooky. It's kind of just weird, kind of more sci-fi, I guess. So I've planned it as it's a narration of the characters' like thoughts on like how annoying this whole situation is, and then deciding that like don't want to play ball anymore. So it's all like a narration over a montage of making sandwiches. So yeah, like I have lots of clips of me different outfits making cheese sandwiches. I picked up some cheap bread and stuff, and I was like, yeah, just doesn't matter if I don't eat these, it's fine. Just yeah. So I feel bad for wasting a bit of food.
I was going to say, I was literally just about to ask, did you do it over time or was it all in one setting? Were you just like, sit down, I'm going to make like 20 sandwiches or something like?
It was 4 sandwiches that I did.
Okay.
I did a bit of it in one outfit and then went changed my t-shirt or like tied my hair up or something to like make it passage of time, and then carried on with the sandwich. So yeah. But yeah, I'm just going to scrap all that footage and start again.
That's fair.
I'm probably not going to have time until the new year now, though. But might be something once I finish my thesis, it might be something I have time to do.
Oh my gosh, yeah, jeez. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Shall I spill the beans on mine then? Just kind of.
Yeah, if you want to.
So it was like, I also went off some of the stuff you guys were talking about last week because I was like, they came at lunchtime. I have no clue what I'm going to write about. Going to do a thingy about. But then you guys got talking about like weirdness or like horrorness or B-movie-esque type stuff. So I kind of was like, okay, I want to make something to do with like a zombie apocalypse kind of thing. And about this dude who's just trying to enjoy his like sandwich in the park, but he keeps getting attacked by zombies. And I was thinking, how could I translate that into like something a bit techy, something a bit codey? And so I bit off more than I could chew and went with like this algorithm that took me forever to get working. It's called, if you do want to look this up, it's by a guy called, I'm going to mess up his name. Is it something Stanley? Called Neuroevolution of Augmented Topologies. It sounds way fancier than it is. Where you map a brain as a collection of like input nodes, hidden nodes, and output nodes. The input nodes determining, like, tell the brain what it can see or whatever. So, oh, there's a zombie 10 meters to your top left, or there's a zombie below you, or whatever, things like that. And the outputs determine how they react to it. So depending on which node was fired, or which node was activated by a really weird function going on in the behind the scenes, it will determine what the guy does. And so over time, it kind of goes through this learning process where it randomly will mutate the brain, the hidden bit of the brain, where there'll be connections with certain weights on them that signifies that this connection is more important than the rest of them. And there'll be so those weights could change over time potentially, or you can add whole new hidden nodes in the middle. It's a weird weird algorithm, but it's like it's the evolution of this brain over time is how the algorithm sort of does its learning. And eventually, at the end of it, ideally, I'd have this guy on the screen that would be shooting all the zombies that spawned in on the edge of the screen. So the first iteration, it was just him stood there staring off into the distance because he hadn't learned anything and he didn't know what to do. So he was just kind of like, okay, and then the zombies eat him. But like with the hope that the final iteration that he just couldn't be stopped and he'd just be shooting everywhere and like nothing would touch him. And I got there in the end. It just took a month and a half, kind of like. And I was talking to Jules before I mentioned this. So like recording it is a bit of an issue because there isn't. It's not like it doesn't converge a set after a certain number of time. It takes a long time potentially to converge on an ideal solution. So recording it, I just have to set off the simulation, hit record on my software, and then leave it for like 3 or 4 hours or something like that. And even after that length of time, sometimes it just didn't come to a decent solution. So I'd have to like, okay, start this again, see what it does, and then record it again, leave it away, and then come back, and then, which is why one of the reasons why it took so long to get any of the footage. But I got it. Definitely had to do some cheating. So I took bits from different recordings that kind of made progressive sense for the guy on the footage to be like, oh, I'm learning this and this and this over time.
I feel like you're making a documentary of a algorithm because that's what you do. You cut out all the bits in the documentary to make the story you want to tell.
Well, so basically, because the video has to be kept quite short, I didn't explain all of that. I just kind of said he has a brain and he gets better over time, sort of, because I was planning on doing a video after that explaining on how it works, because it's all well and good just presenting this video of this dude on the screen shooting things, but I could have been controlling him, and I really wish I did, so I could have got the footage and then did the hard bit, but whatever. That's mine anyway. Sorry, I went off on one a bit. I did warn you, Jules. I'm sorry.
Fascinating.
No, it's cool listening to something because I haven't done any coding in so long at this point. It's cool, like interesting ways of applying it.
It's an interesting algorithm. It's good fun, especially once you get it working and you see that it works. You just kind of like, I did this. This is a thing I did. I didn't think I could, but I did. It's got that. That's what coding's always been. It's kind of got that nice feedback of once you make something, you've made it and it's there and it's happening.
Yeah, as long as you've got some hair left you haven't torn out.
I do, yeah. I think it's still there. Yeah.
So, do you want to have some thoughts about the new prompt then? So it's the prompt for October is my biggest fear.
Yeah.
So I have half made my video for this.
Oh wow, you really are.
I recorded it this morning.
Oh, wow.
It's very short. Again, similar absurdist humour.
But yeah,
I need to
for 5 minutes.
I'm not really. It's not something that's necessarily my personal greatest fear, but I feel like it fits the prompt enough that it's it's a scary thing, and I've tried to incorporate the making something everyday object scary, and if that's more the angle that I've taken on it, but
okay.
Because I was working on something that was trying to be actually a fear that I have, and then I was on the train back from Cumbria the other day, and I just said to my boyfriend, like, this idea just literally just as it popped into my head, I just vocalized it, and he was like, yeah, do that. So
yeah, I've been trying to think of like taking something normal and making it scary, but I don't know what kind of thing that's an everyday thing to take to make scary. I think that's what I got stuck on a little bit. And I also am quite, hang on, let me see if I can find this little thing that I have. 1 second.
So,
I can see someone. There's nice photos of someone being graduated, but I can't make out their face behind you.
I think that's me and Kevin at different times in our lives.
Nice.
So my mum made this, so I thought I would try a little bit of stop motion.
ooh, do it.
This, I think it's yarn on wire.
Ooh.
So it's like it's an armature and it moves, and there's like a little head, which I have to.
Oh my god!
But I was
love
thinking
them.
of like doing something with. There's 3 of them, and I just thought it'd be quite fun to try some stop motion with the little figure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm gonna have to make them stand on something, and I'm also gonna have to come up with an idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just felt that would be quite fun because they're white as well. I thought it could have quite an interesting effect if the background was a little bit white too, because they're kind of an off-white. Yeah. So I don't know. I might try something with that, but I need to come up with an idea.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Jamie's just asked, is there a dummy or some kind of bust behind you, Jay?
Oh yes, there is.
It scared them a little bit.
I can't see it in this. Yeah, it's the mannequin.
Oh my god! So is this actually just your submission for this month's prompt? We just don't know it yet.
It looks a bit like one of those like CPR practice ones.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Like a crash test dummy.
I use him to focus quite often. Sometimes the lighting. I think I got him for a short film that I did with a mannequin, and then it was really hard to get rid of him, so we just kept him.
He's a part of the family now.
He's a bit scary, stern looking, but I can understand that was very frightening just in the corner.
It's a good idea to have something like that to help focus.
It's really
that's always a problem I have. Like I improvise, like I'll often on my chair place a light stand and then stick a post-it note with a smiley face drawn on it on that to give me something to focus on.
Yeah. Well, what's good about that is it kind of because your face sticks out a little bit more than your body, that kind of replicates that whole thing, because sometimes you focus on where you think you'll be and it's just slightly out and stuff. So it is, and it's useful for lighting as well, just having something there to light. Yeah. Sorry about
That's
that,
cool. So I've kind of got an idea for this month's prompt. And like, this didn't used to be a fear of mine, but it is now, because I made the mistake of watching BuzzFeed's Unsolved, the Haunted Ones. And you know that radio thing that they use that flicks between the channels really, really quickly? And it picks up, like it'll pick up like an advert that'll say something but really quickly, and then it'll pick up something else. So over time, these syllables that are picking up very quickly over each like radio signal will sound like someone speaking, and they call it their ghost box. And like, I know how stupid it is, but it actually scares me. Like, because what if it's the what if that gets me? It was like, what if someone actually did say something through it? Like, you've opened up a channel for something to happen. What happens if it does happen? So I was like, cool, I want to make one of those. So I'm currently figuring out, because I'm going to be doing it with internet radio, because I don't have like the physical tech to play around with radio signals. So I'll get. I'm going to make. I've planned out something in Python where I'm collecting a load of internet radio broadcasts and just playing them really quickly, one after each other. And just, I mean, there's no like idea. It is an idea, but there's no flesh to it. It's just kind of do something with that.
Yeah. It's really unique. So, I like that idea.
I need to stop watching haunted documentaries.
That definitely would be really creepy. So yeah, I'm not certain I've like heard of that before, the flicking through the radio thing. But yeah, I can imagining that. Yeah, that could be quite unsettling. So yeah, interesting. I like it.
I'm going to give myself nightmares. It will be fine.
You should just document yourself doing the project, and that'll be really.
Oh Lord.
The Blair Witch style.
Oh, jeepers. I freaked my housemate out because there was like there's a moth on the wall in the kitchen, and I was staring at it, and he thought I was staring at like something else, so he turned around and was like, please don't do that ever again. Like, especially because the nights are getting dark, so we both get back at about 6 o'clock in the evening, just because we both work in town, and so it is quite dark when we're both making tea, and it's just a very spooky situation.
Imagine. It's funny, I think last month's prompt and this one both kind of invoke a horror for me.
They do, don't they? Yeah.
And I'm trying to like not do that, but I guess my biggest fear is it's what you're going to go with, isn't it?
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to do something on a twist with my biggest fear. Wondered if you could make the fear the main character, like reveal that at the end.
Okay.
But I don't know quite how you do that. So, you know, like...
That's interesting, though.
Yeah, you know, like how in crime novels, there's some stories where the narrator is the one that did it and it doesn't
Yeah.
at the end. I was thinking, like, if your fear could be that, but it's just a thought.
I'm not sure how you'd... what's the word? I'm not sure how you'd turn... What is it? Trypophobia into a person?
What is trypophobia? I don't know that.
The one of, like, small patterns that kind of invoke...
That's
like,
really interesting.
Yeah. That kind of invoke like a sickly sensation. I don't know what it is, because I get it over certain things, but not everything. There's a wall on the way to work that I walk past every single morning, and just looking at it makes me really, really uncomfortable.
You could have the wall is frightened of the person. Frightening is their biggest fear.
There is, I mean, there's something there, definitely.
Yeah.
You make walls recoil in horror. Is that a thing that can happen?
In sci-fi land.
Anything's possible in film.
Yeah, totally. What is that Jamie just wrote?
I'm just reading it now. Hey.
I'll pause for a moment to read the chat.
I thought
it was moving as well.
I thought it was a prompt, but it's not, is it?
Oh, what is the enigma of Amigara's fault, Dan? Please.
Is that the wall that runs away from people?
I'm gonna Google this, and it's gonna be a mistake, isn't it?
No, don't Google it. Dan's said some weird stuff. Let him explain.
What is?
There we go. See, now he's struggling. So
it is. I mean, like, I think it's just more reading than I expected. Go on, I believe in you, Dan. Hang on, I'm gonna try and get that phobia up again.
It's the one where a cliff has a bunch of human-shaped holes. Well, that's weird. I've not heard of that.
No, I don't like that at all, actually.
I don't like the idea of that.
This is what I'm... Oh, it won't let me send links. Lol. Remove web address. Okay, I'll type in that. Trypophobia. Yeah, it is trypophobia. Yeah, where's the chat gone? I've lost the window. It's gone. There you go.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Harry.
No, I was just going to say there's a huge list of phobias that you can get online that might inspire some, like...
That's a good idea. Yeah.
I was actually going to say something along those lines, is that I find...
I'm sorry.
Well, it's a bit different, but I find it really inspiring if like you type the word fear in and go and look at it on Wikipedia, because then there's like so much more scope for the imagination, because it talks
about that's cool.
All different things. I usually start with something like that when I'm trying to come up with something. Do loads of research and then find the bit that interests me.
I like that a lot, actually. Fear of. Okay, I found this website, fearof.net, and I'm gonna...
Can you give yourself nightmares?
Find some weird ones. I mean, the thing is also, there's a lot of ones listed that are like, they've just like taken the Latin for things and been like, this is what the fear would be, and they're really bizarre. So I suppose if you want to go down the weird and twisted route, you could find something that doesn't make sense as a fear but has a term for it. So it's like the fear of that a duck is watching you somewhere is one that you hear quite a lot as a joke.
So good.
What? A duck is watching.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but it's one that pops up every now and again with like stupid fears, and yeah, it's like a long word.
Is it a real?
It's the fear of a duck somewhere watching you.
Is it a real fear?
I don't think so. I think it's a case that people just worked out what the Latin would be and just went, that's what the fear of that would be. So
I've posted it in chat. It's anatidaephobia. Diphobia? I don't know what that is.
There you go.
I want that to be a real fear, that the duck's watching you. I just love that.
I mean, that would be fairly easy to do as a prompt if you just find a stuffed duck and just see some shots, just have the duck in the background of all of them and just make it progressively creepier with the lighting or something.
Well, so like, I had this idea for a vlog type video ages ago that I just like never did on my channel because I was super lazy while I was in undergrad. That's when I was like mostly doing my vlogs anyway. Where I'd just be like doing a normal vlog talking about whatever, and hiding in the background of every shot there'd be like, I don't know, like we had a little statue of like a tiny little statue of Santa that like that would be in the background of every shot, like getting more and more brazen the further through the vlog you get. And I kind of like that idea.
Yeah.
Like there's something following you the whole time. Because I don't know, I feel like that's creepier, regardless of what the thing is. It's creepier just because it's like that. It's hunting you sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really cool idea. I just saw in the Wikipedia thing on fear, Jules, I don't know if this is of interest, but I thought it was quite interesting. There's just a bit in an analogy to the social buffering of rats and honeybees in response to chemosignals. So this is talking about like pheromones, fear pheromones.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a smelling anxiety of another person has been found in humans.
Oh my god!
What your take with that on that would be?
Interesting. So yeah, if anyone doesn't know, I don't have a sense of smell.
Yeah, so I wondered like if that's a real thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, human pheromones is a huge like debate of whether it's even a real thing. There's a lot of discussion in the like that branch of psychology as to whether the initial research that was done in like the 70s had any actual like was done properly, or whether they just need to scrap everything and start again.
Right.
Kind of because we have so much more like self-awareness, we don't necessarily respond to like those sorts of chemical signals in the same way as other animals do. And it's like, I'm not an expert in that, but I've read some stuff saying that like maybe we need to throw all this out.
Oh, interesting.
But there's a lot of evidence respond to hormone kind of things. So possibly. So it was for smelling anxiety, was it?
Something like that. There's a whole section on it, but I just read that one sentence. But that could be quite an interesting prompt as well, that you take it from. You could even go with that idea of hunting and smell, and I mean that's been done, but you could kind of do something with it.
Definitely, yeah. That sounds really.
Dan's just said that he has a deep fear of people who smell like they haven't showered. I have a deep fear of accidentally being that person because I have no way of knowing.
Oh, bless you. I have like an annoyingly strong sense of smell. So I wonder. It's just like
in the feed a bit here.
If you what? Sorry.
All right, come back. I think that's just my internet is awful.
Oh no!
So, just everything went black for a moment. It's come back. It's fine. Carry on.
Come back. I was just saying, like, I wonder if like the heightened, you could work a heightened sense of something into a fear video. Like, I don't know. I've always been into like the superheroes that have powers that are just like really good, but actually not good for them whatsoever. So like, I don't know, a superhero that has like a heightened sense of like hearing, but every sound is deafening or something like that, or like but they can hear sounds of people like screaming like miles away, and just like things like that. And I wonder if you could work that into like a fear type video. Sensory overload, and I would give all my money for someone to make a good video about that.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing around ideas.
I think that's definitely got. There's various angles you could go with that, and yeah, I think that could work as a fear sort of thing. Yeah.
What else?
So.
I did have a couple of other ideas for it as well, but I don't know. They're very like learning. So I'm really, really into machine learning at the moment. So like teaching a machine to reproduce images that are scary, which would be cool to do, but within the time frame of about 2 weeks that we have to make this video, I don't think it'll be possible, but definitely something that I might look into. Just like a generator. I mean, you've seen Google DeepMind, and they make those really weird looking pictures.
I haven't seen that.
Oh,
they're really strange.
It's like Google Deep Dream or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And basically what you do is you give them a photo, and then it tries to pick out, one of the algorithms tries to pick out all the animals in that photo.
Right.
But if you give it a photo of something that has no animals in it, it will try its best to pick out the animals, and it produces this really strange looking image.
Oh wow, I'll have to check that out. I've never heard of that before.
Seeing how it reacts to human faces is really interesting.
I think I have
to get these really bizarre contortions, and it's just there's something about them that's slightly unnerving.
Oh, okay. I'm really curious. I'm gonna have to go check it out after this.
Yeah.
So Jamie has been prompting us that we need to talk about the 1080 interview because we haven't done that.
Yes.
So, being told off for being humble. So yeah, 1080 magazine. Are they just UK based 1080? Like I'm not sure because it's like their Twitter's called 1080 UK, and I don't know whether that's just because that's their Twitter. But at least the UK branch, if not a UK thing, they about once a month do a channel feature, and they featured Film Prompt Society, which was really cool. So they interviewed us and asked us about why we're doing it and all that stuff. So yes, apparently they are UK only.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jamie has stuck a link in the chat to the article if you want to go read it. Yeah, it was very cool. I'm very much amused that we gained 1 whole subscriber since that went up. So it's like, yes, that one person, thank you. Yeah, it was really cool. It's just like nice, recognition, I guess. Like people who know about YouTube stuff were like, that is a cool idea. So.
And it was very nicely written, I thought, and spread out nicely between the 3 of us.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
So I'd recommend giving it a read because it was, really good article.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we have been like confirmed as a proper thing, if that makes sense. Acknowledged by the
knighted by
higher powers.
Lovely. Yeah, it's kind of hard with the fear prompt thing, just going back to that, I'm trying to think of other things that you could go with the fear aspect.
Mm.
Can either of you think of something that's like not directly related to fear?
I think it leads you so much, it's difficult, isn't it, to take some like a more abstract or an alternative kind of view on it.
Yeah. I guess one of the things you could do is, rather than taking your biggest fear, is looking for other people or characters in the world or objects.
Yeah.
Their biggest fear. That's something that could kind of spark something a bit original.
Yeah.
I like because we were doing the wall thing. I do like the idea of taking inanimate objects and giving them a big fear. No, I find that slightly amusing, but.
I mean, in a way, that's sort of what my first idea was that I decided not to do.
All right.
So I was thinking of getting the smartphone puppet out again.
Yeah.
And so that it would be the biggest fear of having your phone, suddenly not working properly and losing like your data and that kind of thing. So the idea was that I was going to start off with a quick montage of the phone not being treated very well, and then it's at night time and it doesn't get plugged in, and that's the last straw. So I was going to make a series of either written on paper or as felt as well, to be like little notification things to pop up on his screen. So cool. Activate neglectful owner protocol, and then having various like have battery drained at twice the speed, yes, and like stuff like that was my plan. But it's doing the stop motion I probably don't have time for at the moment.
I do feel though that you should do a series with does he have a name, or she?
He doesn't. No, it's just a smartphone.
I feel like he's the next Simon's cat.
He's definitely got personality to him.
Yeah. And I would love to see a series of like his trials and tribulations throughout his life.
I'm sure I will use him again at some point.
Fantastic.
He's not going anywhere. He's in a drawer in a bag with all the other all the bits, because he's got various eye expressions and pieces.
Yeah.
So I've kept it all together. Yeah, maybe I'll make that at some point just for the fun of it anyway.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Good idea. Very good.
Maybe I'll fit him into this year's monstrous decorations if I do one. So, other ideas. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you go first.
I was just literally going to say, maybe taking it away from the narrative fiction aspect, you could be good to try like a documentary style. Somebody could try that. Of actually finding someone with a phobia and doing a little documentary. You can make them really short, so that might be another way to go.
I like that. I mean, because like I'm a sucker for any sort of documentary, so like I'm not sure if you guys saw Nir's video where he's just like talking to is it his dad? I can't remember. Who's working as a milkman. And he just like interviews him with like questions that we all spammed him over Twitter. And it was just really interesting. I don't know. It's so, because you don't normally see what milkmen get up to. You kind of like assume that they drive a car at some point and deliver milk bottles, but like it's just seeing it happens a whole different thing.
Yeah.
And also the fact that's still happening now. Like I haven't seen a milkman in a long time.
Yes. I was home in Cumbria, so think small villages. And I saw the first milk truck that I have done in so long, and it was really weird. Like, I guess they don't really do them much in cities, do they?
No, they did when I was a kid. I remember every morning the milk float used to come down my street. So Cardiff had them in the 90s, but I feel like it's something that probably exists now in like a subscription service sort of format.
There's a Kickstarter for a milk delivery service.
I don't think I've ever experienced that, but then I was in Turkey until I was like 13, 14. We did have, so like you live in apartments, and we would have a guy bring bread. So you'd throw a basket down on a string if you were like on the 9th floor or whatever, and they put it like with the money, and then they put the bread in, and you'd like pull it back up.
That's amazing.
I like that.
It was fun. I don't think they do it everywhere anymore. That was like that version. The version of milk in a bottle was bread in a basket.
Oh, I love it. That's just so cool.
Yeah. It's sad when things like that start disappearing.
I was talking to my friends. No, go ahead, Henry.
No, I was just going to say it's always going to be happening in the countryside, though. They like stick hard to, in rural areas. They stick hard to those traditions, I guess.
Yeah.
I was talking to my friends the other day that we used to. I don't know where like this was. If this was just like in the area I grew up, but we used to have the Onion Man who'd come around.
I love that.
And he'd have like strings of onions and would sell them door to door. And he was on a bicycle, awesome. And like it was very bizarre. And yeah, apparently this wasn't a normal thing. It used to just show up every now and again. I was just like, yeah, it's the Onion Man. And everyone else just looks at me like I'm crazy. So
in Manchester, there was a soup and sandwich guy that would go around people's offices. So he'd be like, can I come into your office and sell you soup and sandwiches? And at first, like, because I remember being in our office at the time, and at first the person at the desk didn't know what to do. So they're like, what? I need to go inside and check. And then came inside, asked my boss, and my boss was just about to go off for lunch. He was like, actually, yeah, bring him in. So we were all buying like soup and sandwiches off this dude who'd started. I mean, it must have been like a starter up sort of thing.
Yeah.
But he's doing really well for himself now. So
I like what Jamie just put in Cyprus. There's a watermelon man. Yeah, I remember that actually. They come with the carts, don't they? Well, they did in Turkey. I don't know if in Cyprus they come with a cart, but get your watermelons. Watermelon.
I don't think I've had watermelon in a long time. I think because we always used to get it whenever we went abroad to like Florida or something, just because like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it?
Not like you don't want it. It's not something you want to eat when it's cold. Well, I don't want to eat it when it's cold. I want to have it really hot outside, and then it's like a refreshing thing. But
yeah. I think we've missed that. It's definitely decided to be cold in England now.
Miserable.
How can we make watermelons about fear?
I feel like they would to fear.
There's definitely something. It's like the summer pumpkin, isn't it? It's like, so you could have like a really cool,
like carve them with like jack-o'-lantern faces.
Yeah. Like a really like, but he's like cool and he's like summery and he's kind of like hip with it, but he's also out to get you. I don't know, like. Oh man.
So is he like the 90s, like the cool guy who tries to make you do drugs kind of character?
Yeah, but he's a murderer. So, like,
so he's the cool guy that's like, yeah, come hang out, we'll go get skateboards because it's the 90s and that's how I'm visualizing it.
But I'll steal your soul.
And
then he just stabs you.
Yeah.
I think you could do the fear thing with the watermelon that you who was it? Someone in my family they used to buy a watermelon and then they'd like cut a hole, scoop out all the inside, eat it, and then plug it back so that the family didn't know they'd eaten all of the watermelon. And like you could like make that sinister and fill the watermelon with something else, or I don't know, like hide something in it. Poison it.
We used to make vodka watermelon. I wonder if that could be turned into anything scary.
Probably.
Like hallucinogenic watermelon.
Yeah.
Something weird like that. I can definitely see ways of turning watermelon scary.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's as simple as someone cutting it open and then realizing it wasn't seedless and like freaking out. Like my sister for a while had a genuine fear of like, this is when we were kids as well. She's 24 now. She's not scared of this anymore, but like trees growing inside you if you ate the seeds of a fruit.
I was worried about that because of that Rugrats episode.
Yes, that's the thing that got to us. Rugrats really messed up so many people because I think the art style to it kind of gave it a very Uncanny Valley feel. So anything weird that they did was always going to be scary.
Yeah. Jamie's just said that they thought of a watermelon hollowed out and filled with spiders.
There we go.
That's very
like, yeah. That would be the end of the category of my biggest fear. So cutting into a watermelon, gonna have some nice fruit. No, it's full of terror.
That reminds me of the time I did that with, I think it was a fig. I bit into it and it wasn't spiders, but it was ants. It was just full to the oh yeah, just thinking about that makes me like, just remembering it. I think I just threw it away and screamed. I was only like 7 or something when that happened.
Jeepers. The closest I've come to that is my friend and I were playing tennis with these apples we found in the garden that had fallen off the apple tree. And we picked up this one apple that looked kind of like yeesh. But we threw it anyway, and my friend hit it, and it was full of wasps.
Oh my goodness.
That was horrifying. I'd freaked out so badly that I ran off and then stood in another one of the apples also full of wasps.
Oh, man.
There you go. Fruit is haunted forever now.
So there's a lot of fear right there.
It's bringing out a lot in all of us, apparently.
Oh.
What's this one?
I don't think I have any scary fruit anecdotes.
I'm just reading what Dan's put. I mean, I definitely think there's an art in making things scary by just describing them in a strange way.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you could take something that's not scary and kind of give, like, not even give it these properties, just highlight these properties about it that would make it terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we're just playing up to people's anxieties at this point.
But it'd be cool to combine that concept with the technical side of filmmaking as well, like how you liked it, what sounds you use. Because sound effects, just a really weird sound effect can like
they do a good job.
Change. So if you just took something and kind of built that soundscape around it, you could make. I think the trick is seeing who you can scare as well.
Yes.
Like make something and then show it to people who don't usually get scared, and if you can scare them a tiny bit, then you're sort of on the road to making something frightening. I don't know that I've ever created anything scary film-wise that scared anyone other than my mum, who gets scared by anything on film, so doesn't really count.
So there was I can't remember where it's from, and it's going to bug me like crazy, but there's this video that someone had put in the background of it, like just a sound, but the sound was kind of changing, not fast enough for you to notice it, but enough that subconsciously you definitely were tracking it. And because they put that in the video, I think it might have been a Vsauce video, you know, actually. But they put this in the video, and because of that, the whole thing felt really unnerving. But I can't remember what it was. It could have been a Vsauce video. Vsauce could have talked about it. I remember Michael's face being there as I felt uncomfortable. So, God knows, because it could well have been a film.
I've just remembered something as well. It could be helpful. Raindance Film Festival. I don't know if have you heard about they do this competition every year for 15-second horrors.
Ooh.
And they've got on their website, they have all the previous winners, and there's one. I'm going to actually link it. I'm going to put it in the chat here. So it's called, oh, I should have named it. It's called Balcony. Yeah, it's there again. And it made me jump. I don't know if I'd call it a horror, but I thought it was really interesting, like in the space of time they have to shock you. They really do a good job of it, and it's very well produced, but there's like lots of different ones on there, so it might be good to watch that to get some ideas of how you could do yours. I mean, they're mainly narrative stuff, but it's such a short time. I just think it's quite a good idea.
Yeah.
Cool. I will check that out after.
Yeah.
I've just made the mistake of clicking on the link whilst in that pop-up window, so now I've lost chat. 1 second.
Yeah, this is why I'm not watching it now. I'm like, no, that's gonna go wrong. I'll watch it later.
Yeah. I just wanted to pop it up in my tabs just so I wouldn't forget about it.
It's quite cool because, well, I don't want to ruin it, but what's good about it is this. I think what the technique that uses is that there's things in the background that you kind of maybe don't clock the first time, but it makes you nervous, and then when you rewatch it, you're like, oh, that happened, type thing.
So what is it? Stanley Kubrick. Try that again. Stanley Kubrick films. In The Shining, was it Stanley Kubrick that did The Shining?
I think so.
Yeah, he did shit like that. Sorry, I just swore. Not supposed to.
It's all right, don't worry.
He did stuff like that all the time, where like he just like moved chairs in the background of the shots. Like apparently he was a bit of a dodgy guy anyway, but like filmmaking, he apparently knew what he was doing. So he'd be like moving chairs and like changing, like turning lights on and off, but not actually drawing attention to it.
Yeah.
But enough so that, again, subconsciously you'd clock it and you go, something's not right about that. Something's changed.
And it's also the whole hotel spatially does not make sense.
Yes.
If you, like, they'll show a shot of going between rooms and, like, there's, like, a window, but then they go through a doorway and there's a huge room in there, but there was natural light coming through that window. And there's just lots of things like that that help make you uneasy because you're subconsciously aware it doesn't make sense.
I think the carpet does a good job at that as well. That carpet's tricky.
I haven't seen it because I'm too scared to watch it.
I haven't either. I've read a lot of stuff about it. I've read the book. I haven't seen the film, but I've watched like stuff about it. Yeah, it's very cool.
The film's okay. The film's quite good. I wouldn't necessarily call it scary by today's standards, but it is definitely unnerving while you're watching it.
It's one of the things I like about watching older horror films because we've got different like levels of what we're expecting and what we've been exposed to. So like, I can watch an old horror film from like 30, 40 years ago and like that's fine. But I really struggle with like current stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I've like Night of the Living Dead, like absolutely loved that film. But like at the time that like freaked people out, whereas now it's just like, it's fine. You know, some people vaguely in the background doing a slight zombie shuffle, like that's not scary.
Well, zombies are fine. Zombies are great. I love them. They're so good.
I'm still traumatized by accidentally seeing The Blob. Have you seen that one?
I've not seen The Blob. No.
I think is it 1950s? It's a blob that eats people, and I just remember coming across this one scene where this guy. I think the scary thing about it was the man. There was somebody in the house. I might just be misremembering this, but there's someone in the house watching a guy get pressed up against a window as the blob is dissolving him, and it was that kind of scene. Yeah, and it wasn't. I don't think it was very gory at all, but it was very disturbing to me.
It is like the practical effects that they did back then. They managed to get disturbing really well because of like the practical effects.
Yeah.
Like if you saw like a CG dude like melting, yeah, it'd be creepy, but you wouldn't, because you knew it was CG, you wouldn't necessarily feel like I guess attached to it. I don't know what the right word there is, but like when you can see something's physical, it's definitely a bit more creepy.
Yeah.
I think a really good example of that is The Thing, and then the remake of The Thing.
The Thing is so good.
The original The Thing, everything's done with practical effects. Was that the 70s? John Carpenter's The Thing? Or was it the 80s?
Yeah.
But it was a fair while ago, and they did everything with practical effects. It's really good, still holds up today. And then when they remade it a few years ago, they filmed it with practical effects, and the studio decided they didn't like it, and they covered over everything with CG, and it's awful. So,
I don't know why they do that, because I think CG is never as good. Like CG only works in certain lighting situations and just little bits and pieces, but when they just do entire things, it just doesn't do much for me.
It's the higher ups, the studio execs and things who don't understand that sort of thing. They just know CG is what everyone does. That's how you get things to look good. Yeah. So do it in CG.
Yeah.
And they don't understand the applications of it.
It's like it really has its place at certain times. Like I don't think I could watch. I mean, bad film, but Sharknado. I think the fact that they use CG in that, I think adds to it. Whereas if they use practical effects, not as much so. So I definitely think it has its place, but not necessarily for literally everything, which is what it's used for now, annoyingly.
Yeah, I think that like level of the sort of the recent B-movie monster films, they really like just like cheap CG, and it's part of the aesthetic of those kinds of films. At this point, I've watched a lot of them. We have bad movie nights where we basically just watch the Sci-Fi Channel original ones. So yeah, there's a few I would not recommend. There's a few I would. If you ever get a chance to see Zombievers, actually,
oh my
really
god,
good.
It's incredible!
So,
it's really good.
So good.
Yeah.
Is it beavers?
Yeah,
Zombies?
beavers that are zombies, and it's a lodge like in the country, and it's the most stereotypical kind. It's just really good. Like,
It feels
it's got the
so
best theme tune at the end, which I can't say anything about because it kind of gives away the plot in the theme tune that they play in the credits. But that just made it
like I don't know. They definitely because with bad films, they don't often know that they're. I mean, Zombievers wasn't a bad film. That's the thing. So I don't know. It's like they're definitely aware that they're making a film about beavers that are zombies. Kind of like that it's ridiculous. And they know this. And it comes off really well that they definitely had that in mind while they were making it. That it was a ridiculous premise, but they made it work so well. And because I love a bad film, but this was like a well put together quote unquote bad film, but it's not bad at all sort of thing.
Yeah. It's not even like it's so bad it's good. It's just enjoyable. Like it's premise, but it's so well made.
Yeah. I remember seeing an advert for it a while ago. My friend was like, "Lol, look at this," and it was the transformation scene. And it's out there. It is so good though.
Yeah, weird monster movie recommendation.
Friendly reminder that The Room was originally going to be a horror movie starring Tommy as a vampire driving a Cadillac.
Well, isn't that just one of those theories? Has that actually been confirmed by him? Because I wouldn't trust anything he said anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing. If Tommy said something, I still wouldn't believe him. Even if he was telling the God honest truth, I just wouldn't believe him.
Because he says that The Room was always supposed to be a dark comedy, and clearly it was a serious drama.
It was
terrible. Yeah. So.
Oh my god. Confirmed by him and Greg Sestero.
Fair enough.
Which is Greg? Is he Mark? I can't remember. That film is really long, by the way.
Yeah.
And
it feels it.
It definitely feels it. Like even if it was half an hour long, it would feel really long. But it's like 2 hours of just nonsense.
Yeah. Oh, it's that weird acting one. Right, I was talking about.
Have you seen it?
I've seen clips of it. I haven't watched the whole thing.
You should at some point, because I'm sure it's a perfect masterclass of how to not make a film. So
or often I bet a lot of it could be fixed in editing. that would be quite fun to take something really bad and see how much you could fix it with the edit.
Yeah, true. Take out all the sex scenes, that'll improve it. Or at least reduce their length.
Yeah. I think that's why the films are so long, because of those scenes. You know, I swear one of them goes on for like 20 minutes, and they just they reuse one of them. If you notice, they just take all the shots from one. Yeah.
I'm sure he got the licensing for the music that they were set to, and he was like, "Well, I paid for the song, so I'm using it," and just. Oh
gosh.
If you haven't watched The Room and you're interested in film, I would really recommend it because it's such a train wreck. It's fantastic.
I mean, the bits
he runs. Awful. he runs a web series, Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
It's called The Tommy Wiseau. And it's something. People have come to me and said they really enjoy it, but I don't know. I can't help but see him as Johnny, the strange. He does Twitch streams. Dan, are you joking?
Oh,
I definitely I'm live Tommy Wiseau. I'm definitely interested in.
Yeah.
I want to see what that's like.
My other favourite film to bring out for bad movie nights is the cartoon of the Titanic.
I've never heard of that.
It's so good.
With just the animals.
Yeah.
The
it's
animals?
Really good.
Right, you know what? I'll be back in a moment. I'm going to go grab it because I have a physical copy of this. So I'll be 2 seconds.
Oh my god.
Henry, there's a Titanic film with animals.
There is a Titanic film with animals, and it kind of forgets about the main plot sometimes and just looks at the animals for like large portions of the film.
That's great.
It is so, honestly, it's, I don't know, any film that they like didn't have animals in to begin with and gets remade with animals just seems to get so strange.
Like
hello.
I can't think of it.
Hello.
So this is the Titanic film.
Oh, wow.
Cartoon. So the difference is that the guy who's definitely not Jack is from the rich family, and the lady who's definitely not Rose is the poor one.
So was this made after the film?
Yes. Oh, what's the date on it? 2002.
Okay.
And I'll show you the back because this has got all the animals. You've got, and you can see which Disney or Looney Tunes characters they have ripped off.
I want to see this.
Oh god, they did, didn't they?
The runtime is 70 minutes. It has songs.
Yay!
There are musical
I'm gonna love
it.
the
Original
animals
score.
do. Like it is glorious. There's one piece of music that they have which they just keep using, and it's just like they'll just be having a scene and then the music starts. You're like, not that music, not again. And this came free with our family's first DVD player. So I'm guessing around 2002.
That's a clever deal.
Along with a couple of other very bad films that we didn't hang on to, but this was just glorious. So, and apparently, a while ago, they were really hard to find, and they were quite like they went for quite a lot on eBay because there was someone who like talked about them online about how it's a really bad film and it had a bit of a resurgence, but there's hardly any actual copies. So,
animals is just strange. And it's kind of got me on a bit of a tangent to has anyone seen any videos by Video Brinqueda on YouTube? I mean, they're a real film studio. It's just they've got all their stuff on YouTube. And they're a Brazilian film company that makes weird 3D films. And again, like, there's tons of Uncanny Valley stuff that you could get from that because there's some scenes that it feels like they're deliberately quite scary. I'll post it in chat. Hang on, Video Brinqueda. If you look for them, my favorite of their stuff is, and it's not good. Let me just get that out there. It's awful. Is Ratatouille. And Ratatouille is a complete ripoff of Ratatouille, but with this other rat called Ratatouille, featuring voice actors from Pokemon, which is bizarre. It's got Jessie from Pokemon and it's got Meowth from Pokemon, both voice actors in that, and it's really weird. And we watched the whole thing, and there's definitely some scenes from that would give you the big fear if you need inspiration for this.
Oh, speaking of which, sorry, like I just had have you seen Animal Farm, the cartoon?
I have not, no.
Oh, that's theory.
Really I've seen some clips of the bits with the pigs being quite disturbing.
Yeah, and it's very disturbing. So I think that's a good one if you're wanting to make something a bit freaky. That's animals.
I've seen a live action Animal Farm, but I've not seen the animated one.
With animals, live action?
Yeah, like, I can't remember exactly how live action it was.
Okay.
Like, but I think it kind of like how like Babe and stuff like that had animals in, but like
yeah,
it's a certain level where it's like, well, clearly that the background ones are
And another really one that used to really creep me out was Peter and the Wolf, and it was done with it was like stop motion, but with like what looked like wooden puppets. I think it was Russian. I'm gonna have a little look for it, but it had like it was so creepy.
Oh,
I'm just gonna see. Well, I remember it being.
Peter in the World. People. I just typed in Peter and the people in the world. Peter and the Wolf. Wooden puppets.
I think it's this one.
Ooh, I mean, everything that I've just found is
these
horrible.
Oh.
Oof.
Yeah,
I think the humans are scary, you know.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't think you found the same one.
I just typed in Peter and the Wolf wooden puppets.
Oh, and it came up. Hang on, let me see.
I just typed in Peter and the Wolf animation puppet, and there's a lot of sort of reminds me of a series of versions of Aesop's Fables I used to watch with these wooden puppets.
See, none of the ones that are coming up on mine are the one.
Ah, okay. This is similar, potentially.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look for it and then pop it on the comments when I find it.
There's a cool shadow puppet one I'm seeing here. That's cool. Yeah, like animation when it's not been done well can be really creepy. So that could be a good. Yeah, just happens to be.
It was. I don't know. Like they did a series. It was very similar to. They did a series of Shakespeare plays in stop motion wooden puppet form on the I think it was the BBC, years and years and years ago. And it was that kind of style, so it was well done, but it was just a horrible. It was for children. It was a horrible story, and it was really upsetting. But I'll have a look for it because it was quite a good one to watch.
I definitely think like kid stories are just scary. Like I don't know what it is. Maybe it's deliberate, but there's like so many kid stories out there that are just like. I got nightmares from them when I was a kid because they were like stories to make you behave, weren't they? So they'd be like, "Oh, don't do this, or you'll get murdered," or like stuff like this, and it's just. I made the mistake as well when I was little watching Grizzly Tales for Gruesome Kids as well, which was, that was good. That Goosebumps, but Goosebumps wasn't that scary.
Goosebumps wasn't scary. Are You Afraid of the Dark was scary.
Oh my gosh, yes. That was good.
Sounds terrifying.
German kid stories.
Watership Down was scary.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's really good. I love it, but it's
not really for kids, really, from what I know of Watership Down.
No, but I watched it as a kid.
I think the thing that freaked me out the most as a kid that I remember was Ghostbusters. Because I think I was maybe 4 or something. I was quite young. And just the opening scene with where they go to the library and there's the ghost that kind of goes, and yeah. Like, I was already freaked out when, like, the book just floated past. Like, I was already not happy. And then when this ghost just went all really scary, I was out of the room and freaking out. And that was it. And my mum wouldn't let my sister watch the rest of it, and she held that against me for many years. Yeah. That and Stop It and Tidy Up. That used to scare me.
What is Stop It and Tidy Up?
It was a kids' cartoon series on the BBC. It was narrated by Terry Wogan, randomly. But it was a series of things with all the characters had names. Like the main characters were Stop It and Tidy Up, and then there was Eat Your Greens and Go to Bed and stuff. And they were all like lessons for small children. But it was I can't remember if it was the character of Stop It or Tidy Up. I mixed them up. But when he spoke, he just made this like deep, like whoa noise, and it really scared me. I don't know why. Like just that sound terrified me.
So
yeah, you can watch them all on YouTube because I found that they were uploaded there and watched a few a while ago.
My god, that's incredible!
If you ever want to venture into it, so yeah, Stop It and Tidy Up. It was the late 80s, I think it was made. I don't know why I watched it, but
there was an episode of Pingu.
Is it the dream one?
It is, yeah.
Oh, that episode.
So, I think dreams inherently are quite good to play around with, just because there's little in terms of like boundary, because they're dreams, that they're gonna be weird. But I don't know, like, I don't know how you'd reflect that, because I mean, a video might as well be like, you can do whatever you want in a film. But like, I don't know, definitely when I feel the protagonist has zero control over what's going on, like something really spooky about that. Or like the idea that they have control and then suddenly like, oh wait, they don't. It's like, it's gone.
That's quite, like, that's the trick, isn't it? Putting that across through visuals and through making the audience feel that the protagonist doesn't have the control. It's quite tricky to kind of create that.
I think what we've learned here is we need to be inspired by scary kids' TV shows.
Go back and watch them.
All right, so we've been streaming for a bit over an hour.
Oh, nice.
So, is there anything else we want to talk about, or should we bring things to a close?
I think that's probably covered everything, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Any last thoughts?
Any last words? Your biggest fear comes.
Well, that too.
Good luck.
Oh, I've sorry. Just one more thing from like a kids' film, I guess. You know, Harry Potter 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the one that just goes like, everything's whimsical. Hogwarts. Yeah, my uncle nearly got murdered, or like his soul sucked out in the last one. But you know, there's kind of like, oh, it's okay because while they're at the school, it's safe. So like, that's when like your pal Voldemort knocks about, isn't it? And I remember watching that, and like, I'd never been so scared of anything in my entire life. It's really like, because I used to watch like all kinds of horror movies when I was younger and stuff. So like, generally, I don't get phased too badly. But that scene, like, I felt my heart like going. The first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh God, Harry's dead, isn't he?" Like, I don't know, like that safety net being taken away is a biggie. Like, they didn't have the school anymore; it's gone, and now Voldemort's here to ruin everything.
You have to kind of build that up, and then take. Yeah. It's harder to do in a short film.
In a short, yeah, definitely.
At the time, but good challenge, really.
Sorry, that was just like a final, like, oh, there's a thought here. Sorry.
And Dan just said, what do you guys think of a horror based on someone trying to do good but doing bad instead, like Kilgrave and Jessica Jones?
I think that works really well.
Yeah.
There's that twist thing, and yeah, you can really play with that.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of potential for cool stuff from that kind of angle.
And it goes on that idea of the protagonist losing control because they're trying to do something but they're not able to. They're doing something.
Yeah.
So yeah, that does work really well.
Yeah, cool. Ooh, weird noise there.
Sorry, yeah, a car just went by my house. There's
that would be it. There was a rumble.
Engines.
Right, so I guess that is it for this month's stream. So thanks to everyone who popped in and hung around in the commenty chat, whatever it's called. I'm very good at this. And yeah, look forward to seeing what people come up with. Especially, I like kind of horror stuff. I think you've got a lot of potential with that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what cool stuff we get to talk about next month. So, right. Well, yeah, we will see you around on the channel and all that stuff. And yeah, Twitter @FilmPromptSoc. I'm going to try and make the Twitter page more active. But yeah, follow that for updates and other things. Cool. All right. I will end that here then.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.